Hi, my name is Brody Buster. I'm a multi-instrumentalist blues artist out of Kansas City, Missouri, and you're listening to Talking Blues.
Tell me about a little bit about your mom and her harmonica playing.
Well, my mom's name is Jan, and she had been playing harmonica, I think, since she was in her teens or something. But she showed me the harmonica around age 7. She was a blues musician in Kansas City who played with Sonny Kenner, Cotton Candy, and she basically introduced me to music and to the blues with the harmonica. And I took right to it, and then she would start taking me to blues jams with her friends, and that's how I got started doing all this.
So I presume you got good very quickly. Did you know that you were good at an earlier age?
Um, I just always did it, so I didn't know if I was good or bad. My mom would like show me which harmonica to use, and over time I figured that out. But I mean, people seem to like it when I play harmonica, so I guess I've always had a knack for it. But I think nowadays my playing's a lot more controlled and a lot better even.
Did you know at that point whether you wanted to become a musician or not? Or at what point did you think that you would want to become a musician?
I never thought that I wanted to be a musician. I always just was a musician, and I haven't known anything else. I started at such a young age that's all I've ever known. I mean, other than playing music, the only thing I've done is work at like pizza places. I love doing music. I think I would have chosen it, but I think music more so chose me.
Which makes total sense, especially at a young age and to be able to play like that. I wonder when you're like basically you're a child prodigy playing the harmonica.
Mhm.
Did you know that you were different? Like, did you understand that you had this amazing talent at a young age and maybe you looked at things differently?
I don't know if I understood the magnitude of the talent I was, showing, or I knew that I was different because I wasn't doing things that other kids were doing. Other kids were playing baseball and stuff, which I did too, but like from a young age I was good, and from a young age I had responsibilities because of that. I was playing shows and and being a musician. So I probably missed out on some childhood. Um, but that's okay.
I mean, I presume you enjoyed doing what you were doing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed playing music, and I still do enjoy playing music. Um, I may have enjoyed other things. I don't know. I've just always, literally, always just done this, so I don't know anything different.
When did you pick up the guitar? When did you become a guitar player?
Well, I got my mom bought me an acoustic guitar at a garage sale when I was really little, like right when I started playing harmonica. But I didn't mess with it very much until I was like age 15 or 16, and then I kind of got way into the guitar. My mom wanted to get me guitar lessons, but I went to one guitar lesson, and then I ended up starting a band with that guy. So I never really got any guitar lessons or anything, but I learned to play just from watching and from listening, and from duplicating what I do on the harmonica, I would do it on the guitar.
Okay, so I want to ask you about that. I've seen clips of you. I don't know if it's scatting, but you're basically playing the same notes on the guitar as you are playing on the harmonica.
Yeah, that all came from me playing a harmonica lick and then holding a guitar and finding the notes.
Is that a difficult thing to do?
For me, no, it's not very difficult. A lot of people ask if I have perfect pitch. I don't know if I do, but for me, it's not very hard. No.
And that's something that you could totally improvise as opposed to script every note, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can do that on the fly. I mean, and I do it with other players all the time, like trading back and forth. I can play exactly what they play, note for note.
I find that so amazing, but I guess it's just second nature to you.
Yeah, it's just the ear, man. I've been doing this. I'm 40 years old now. I've been doing this since I was 7. So a lot of it's muscle memory at this point, some of it even.
At what point did you start writing songs?
You know, in my 20s is when I started getting into the writing process. I would like co-write with people when I was littler, but I didn't really know what I was doing. But now uh, I really started writing in my early 20s, and then I didn't write for a while, and now I'm writing a lot again. It's hard for me to write songs. I have to be inspired by something, or I have to have gone through something, or the songs I write are all pure emotion, really, other than that 2029 song, that one I wrote out of a dream.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to, songs just come to me, like that song Can You Hear Me on my new album. I wrote that in 5 minutes while driving my car. So like songs literally just come to me. I don't sit down and write. They just come to me, and I write it down on paper, and then I work it out. And it takes, a matter of 20 minutes tops to complete a song.
Tell me when you say it comes to you, and I've heard that mentioned by other musicians as well. But when you say it comes to you, what comes to you? Is it the riff? Is it the melody? Is it the words?
It's different every time. Normally I'll have what I want to say in my head, and then or what I'm thinking about in my head. And then the melody will come to me, and then I grab a guitar and I find the chords that match that melody. And then I write the first lyrics down, and then it all just flows out after that. And then I have to go back in and maybe tweak a couple things, or I'll look at it and say, okay, this is a great song, but it's boring because it doesn't have a bridge. So then I'll add a bridge to it.
When you were young and you started playing the blues, there was a point where you decided that you didn't want to play music anymore, or you wanted to step away from music. Tell me about that.
Yeah, yeah, like I was playing blues my whole life, and around probably age, I don't know, 18 or 19, I kind of got sick of it. And I just wanted to do something different. So I moved to Lawrence, Kansas. I was playing in metal bands. I played in a bluegrass band. I was working at a pizza place and was playing music. I just wasn't playing blues, and I wasn't writing. I was just playing music. And at that point I was doing it more for just for the free bar tab. I wasn't really pursuing music. I was just having fun.
And then playing other musics, did that come easy to you after your initial blues training?
Yeah, in the bluegrass band I played only harmonica. So that's, I can play harmonica on any genre of music. In the metal band I played guitar, and that was a bit different, obviously, but um I could kind of fall naturally into any type of music as long as I just try.
Well, I can imagine having heard you play the harmonica. I mean, it's you can play it. So I can imagine applying it to different genres isn't that difficult.
Yeah, there's a different approach to everything, and there's different positions you can play on the harmonica. Some people say don't even bother trying to attempt to play other music unless you've learned how to play the blues. And I got good at the blues, and so now it's easy for me to cross genres.
What made you go back to the blues?
I've always loved the blues. I've always loved playing blues. I think my maturity brought me back to it. I've gotten older, and I just where I've naturally came back to. I think when you're young, you try to run away from things, and when you're old, you kind of grow into them.
Yeah, I mean that makes total sense to me. I wonder, okay, when you look back on your younger self playing the blues, because in some ways blues is about life, blues is about experiences. How do you look back on that person, that young kid who was executing the notes and who was playing the blues, to who you are today?
I mean, I've definitely lived the experiences now, that's for sure. When I was a little kid playing music, I was just playing music. I didn't know what the blues, the people I grew up around were playing blues, so that's what I played. Looking back on it now, I wish I would have maybe started later in life, because it was always harder. It's always been hard to shake the novelty aspect of it. Up until now, it's been very hard to shake the novelty aspect of it.
How do you think that happened? How did you shake the novelty aspect?
I think, and for me, it was an unfortunate dang, I mean, I think I had to crash before I could come back up. I mean, up until 2 years ago, I was a drug addict. You know, and I think I had to fall all the way down to crawl back out, man. And now that I've crawled back out, it's like the little kid. It's there, but it's not everything now. You know, now people are here for a different reason because I've come out of the dark, because I've written these songs, because I had to almost destroy that little kid in some ways.
I mean, we often hear about young actors and kids who reach fame at a young age and how what a difficult time they have growing up and oftentimes getting involved with drugs and drinking or whatever. Do you think that applied to you? Or is that
For sure it applied to me. I mean, I grew up in a bar. I grew up in a bar. And when you've got talent and you grow up in that situation, people try to take advantage of you, and people try to latch onto you. And one method people use for that is drugs. And I became addicted through a series of bad relationships and bad things that happened in my life. Um, and I became dependent and addicted to drugs, and it ruined everything. But I mean, what's the saying they always say? It's always darkest before the dawn, you know. So it's that type of thing.
okay? So what's impressive is that you did get out of that. Can I ask how that happened? What when you reached that darkest moment, if you don't mind talking about it, how is it that you got out of that dark moment into the light?
Man, I don't know what made it happen. I was sitting there in a trailer in Lawrence, Kansas. I had zero gigs. I had zero money. Um, I personally couldn't even be around my kids because I was in such bad shape. Um, and I put a few things in a car and I left Lawrence, Kansas, and I went to my friend Tania's house and started over and just never looked back. I deleted phone numbers out of my phone. I stopped talking to people. I, just completely cut every negative aspect of my life off.
Was there a point where I mean, obviously there was a point that you reached that you said, "I gotta change." Do you remember that moment?
I mean, my arm was infected from shooting up. Um, my closest friends wanted nothing to do with me. Um, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I messed up, and I was in a hole that I don't think a lot of people can get out of. Sometimes I wonder how I got out of it. I know the only way I did get out of it was through music and some people that really care about me.
So I presume that you would have burned some bridges, maybe lost some gigs, and maybe some trust from maybe musicians or venues.
Oh yeah, man, I burnt every bridge I had nearly.
So how do you?
It took other musicians vouching for me. When I first started playing music again 2 years ago, getting back into it, I hit blues jams with people I knew that hadn't seen me in forever. And I'd walk in and it was like they'd saw a ghost. And then, I'd play these blues jams and show them that I was off drugs. And people were like calling bars that they played out and vouching for me. And I started from the ground up again with the help of the Kansas City music scene.
That's pretty special.
It's real special. I mean, yeah, they all helped pull me back up.
Can I ask what that time would have done for your playing or to your playing? Like, was your playing affected by that? Did you become a worse player or did you in turn become a better player?
I've become a way better player because for the 5 to 7 years I was a drug addict there, I was playing on drugs. So it was all over the freaking place. And it wasn't good. And now that I'm off drugs, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and it's very controlled and uh, collected, and I've become a thousand times better since getting off drugs.
Okay, so one of the things that you do is play in a one as a one man band. Play the guitar, harmonica, percussions, drums. Tell me how that started.
That started because there was this place called the Westport Saloon in Kansas City that wanted entertainment on Monday nights, and they only had a budget of $100, and I couldn't get a band to do it. And at the time, this is when I had my first kid, and I was looking for any way to make money playing music and avoid making, the more music I made, the less pizza I had to make. So I started the one-man band out of necessity as a way to make money on weeknights in Kansas City. And then after doing that in 2017, I entered the International Blues Challenge and took second place in the one-man band category. But yeah, the one-man band was simply out of necessity. And I still do it to this day. I'm on a one-man band tour right now. I do the band and I do the one-man. And I like doing both, but both are very different. And both have different songs. And, there's some songs that cross over, but it's two completely different things.
Why not just you with an acoustic guitar and a harmonica?
That's what it started off as. And then I was like, well, it's missing something. I wanted people to be able to dance. I wanted there to be energy. And on top of that, I don't know if I was a good enough guitar player when I started doing the one-man band to just be guitar and harmonica. I needed something else to fill it up. But people really just latched onto that one-man band thing for some reason, and it's like a one-man. I can get a whole room to jump up and move, just one person, and I think people like it because of the coordination it takes too. A lot of people say I can't chew gum and walk at the same time type thing, but yeah, the one man band's been a great thing for me, and honestly, if I didn't have the one man band, I wouldn't be able to stay in the game. You have to diversify yourself nowadays.
Okay, so I'm curious as to the way you approach the one man band thing versus approaching your trio or your 5-piece band.
Mm-hmm.
As a player, as a one man band, can you get lost in the music, or are you? Do you know what I mean? Like there are moments where you talk to musicians and they talk about doing a solo or just losing themselves in the music because of fellow musicians and what they do in the room and everything that just changes the atmosphere. I don't know if that can happen if you're doing a one-man band thing because you're concentrating on so many different things, or am I incorrect in that assumption?
No, it can happen. It happens more frequently, getting lost in the music with a full band, but it happens in the one-man band too. And when I'm doing the one-man band, I'm not really playing each instrument individually. I'm playing them all as one instrument. That's how I look at it. It's like one motion, one movement. So I'm not like individually thinking about each instrument. And like I play the songs differently all the time. And I'll change the dynamics of it. I mean, they change all the time. And I don't really have control of how they change. They just change naturally on the spot. A lot of people that come to my shows say that the thing that they love about it is that I never do the same thing twice. I never play the same song twice. I'll never play the same song the same way.
Right.
The songs always feel different. And that's probably based on how I'm feeling.
As a musician, how do you approach the different types of gigs compared to the one-man band gig versus your trio versus your 5-piece band? Are you a different person? Are you a different musician?
Oh, for sure. Well, I always play the way I play. I mean, that's a hard question. I definitely play. I mean, it depends on what musicians I'm playing with too. Everybody feels different, So I don't know how to answer that question really. I guess I definitely have a different approach to everything I do for sure. And I enjoy all of them. I really like playing with a keyboard player and drummer and bass player though. That's my favorite crew.
And do you consider yourself more of a harmonica player than anything else, or it doesn't work that way?
I mean, I'll always be a harmonica player. I'm a harmonica player through and through, but I'm also a vocalist and I'm also a guitar player. I do not consider myself a drummer. I can keep time for the one man band, but I'm not a drummer.
Tell me about going to the IBCs in 20, I think it was 2017, was it not?
Yeah, 2017, I went to the IBC. I did that because a kid that I was working pizza with, heard it on the radio about the International Blues Challenge, and I'd been out of touch with the blues scene forever. And my buddy Tyler Parker was like, "Man, you should enter it with your one man thing." And I entered in Kansas City, won, and then I went to Memphis thinking I wasn't going to get far. And then next thing I know, I was at the Orpheum Theater there playing at the finals, and then I actually left because I didn't think I was going to place, and I was in the alley, and they called my name, and I got best harmonica, and I was like, all right, best harmonica, that's great. So I thought it was over, and then 20 minutes later, they called me back on stage because I placed second in overall one-man bands.
That's quite an achievement. Well, what did that do to you?
It got me going again. It put me on tour. Right after that, I did a record with Kenny Neal, and everything was great until COVID hit. And then COVID hit, and I was in the middle of a tour, and everything stopped. And then I went home to nothing to do and no gigs and a bad relationship. And that's when the drugs got extremely bad for me. It could have been a real blessing, but I messed it up.
But you did come out of that.
Yeah, I came out of that. Yeah. I mean, at the same time, I went during COVID, I went through a divorce. My brother committed suicide, and I got really wrapped into drugs. And then I was wrapped up into drugs until, I mean, not even 2 years ago. I'm 2 months shy of being off drugs. 2 months shy of 2 years being off drugs.
Wow. Tell me about the new album, because the new album kind of talks about the road back.
Yeah, the new album, Redemption is the name of it. I started playing with these musicians in Kansas City. And then I went to the ones that I thought were the best, and I asked them if they wanted to do this album with me. First, I hit up Jack Garroot with Levittown was the bass player. And I asked him to produce it. And then we got Ian Pond, the drummer. And then I asked Jackie Myers, and I was in love with Jackie Myers and how she plays. And when she said she wanted to work with me, I was like, oh my God, this is the magic crew right here. We've got it. And so, they all believe in me, and I showed them the songs, and they were like, oh man, these songs are perfect. And so I didn't even have to ask. They all wanted to do it. And so we rehearsed the songs for like a month, and then we went into the studio and banged it out in 2 days.
What did you think? What were your hopes for that album?
I just wanted to release this record to let people know that I was back doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And, I'm back. I'm for hire. I'm here doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's why I wanted to get it done so fast. I mean, for me to get off drugs, put out a record, and go to 250 shows this year in under 2 years is pretty amazing. And I just did this record just to prove to people I could. It's a lot of people thought I couldn't do this. So, in a lot of ways, I did it just to prove people wrong too.
What's your confidence level like at this point? How do you feel about things right now?
I feel great about things. I know my record's good. I know my band's good. I know my show's good. And I know I'm happy doing what I'm doing. And I know that I'm in a way better place than I was. And I know that it seems that every show we play, more and more people come, and people are showing up knowing the words to songs. And people really, really like what I'm doing, and I couldn't feel better about the situation, man.
Do you have goals at this point?
My next goal is to put out another record very soon. Once I've got this ball rolling, I don't want it to stop. So I'm planning on getting back in the studio, hopefully within 6-7 months, getting another record together. I'd like to go to Europe, and obviously stay off drugs. Those are my main goals right now, is to just do what I'm doing, but take it to the next level.
I hope you don't mind me asking, but is that a difficult thing to think about, staying off drugs?
At the moment, no. At times it has been. But I know one key factor to me staying off drugs is that I gotta stay busy. So that's why I play all the time. And that's why I always keep myself occupied. And luckily, it's with music.
And you said that writing is difficult for you, but you obviously did a decent job with this latest album to talk about your experience and share that road back. Is writing still a difficult thing?
I mean, it's writing's not necessarily difficult. It's difficult to make myself sit down. I can't tell myself to write a song. They just have to come to me. And lately, they've been coming to me a lot easier. I will say that.
So you've already started working on new songs for the next album.
I've got a couple ready to go already. Yeah.
It's an impressive road that you've traveled. I know it hasn't always been easy, but the fact that you've come out on the other side and keeping yourself quite busy and doing well is a testament to who you are. When you look back on this ride, how do you look back on things?
I mean, I wouldn't, that's a hard one. I wish I wouldn't have made the mistakes I made. I went through a lot, but, and I regret some of it because, it affected other people. The decisions I made affected other people that are close to me. And that's the part I regret about it. And I regret the damage I did to my body and my mind. But I don't know if I'd change anything because I don't know if I'd be where I'm at now if I wouldn't have gone through what I went through. And right now I'm in a pretty good place. And I'm proud of the music I've written, and I'm proud of what I'm doing. And when I was younger, I don't know if I was proud of what I was doing, but now I really am.
Do you think you have been able to make amends with all those people and all those venues? Like, have you reestablished yourself back on the road, and are venues not hesitant to hire you anymore? Like, I mean, are you back where you were before?
Yeah, I'm back. I mean, yeah, I'm back. I'm anywhere that they wouldn't have me will have me now. And there's a couple spots where I really messed up in the past. I was at, and one last one of those is the Hideout in Spring Hill, Kansas. I really messed up there when I was on drugs. But we have a redemption show there coming up, and everybody's happy about it.
Well, that's good to hear. Brody, I think you're an impressive person. I think what you've accomplished is pretty amazing, and the new album sounds great. I thank you so much for taking this time to talk to me.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you having me on and helping me spread the word, man. Thank you.
All right, you take care.
You too, brother.